You heard President Xi specifically use the word protectionism. He's kind of talking about this here. These are American companies that are talking about reshoring. The thing has skyrocketed. I mean, everyone wants to bring production out of China. By the way, this is not just a U.S. phenomenon. This is around the world. Just look here more recently, China exports and imports. Exports, forget about it, down 11% with the EU, down 15% with America, down 8% with Japan. Even imports are being affected. Imports down with every one of their major trading partners. This is crushing their economy. And so the big question, of course, with all of this is, how much of an upper hand does this give President Biden today? And just how much of an advantage, how much will he demand from China as they negotiate things? I'm going to bring in with Stevens Inc. Executive Vice President, Senior Policy Advisor, Mary Kissel. Mary, we know China's economy is in trouble. How does President Biden take advantage of that?
Well, it's great to be back with you, Charles, and happy birthday.
Oh, thanks.
You mentioned Nixon. You mentioned Nixon in your introduction. That's an important reference because every time the Chinese Communist Party sends their country into an economic ditch, they turn to the United States to save them. They did it with Nixon after Mao almost crushed the whole economy under the Cultural Revolution. George Bush Sr. did it after Tiananmen Square when he sent Brent Scowcroft back. And Xi Jinping faces the worst economic environment in probably 40 years, and that's why you see him coming over to court CEOs. It's interesting to me, Charles, that you heard President Biden there just reference dialogue and dialogue only. That's because he can't point to a single thing that Xi Jinping has done himself to improve the relationship. Everything has gotten worse. He's sided with Russia and Iran. He's enacted some very dangerous military maneuvers against our people in Asia Pacific and neighbors like the Philippines. He's stealing IP. He's continued to crack down on Hong Kong, Tibet, the Uyghurs. I mean, this is a terrible situation. He's done nothing at all to demonstrate that he's serious about improving ties with us. So I think this is a propaganda coup for him. I don't think it has any economic significance at all. And as you've said, investors get the joke. FDI has turned negative because they're leaving China. They know what's going on there. They perceive the risks, and they're getting out. Right.
Foreign direct investment, FDI, coming out of China, first time like this in a long time. You mentioned a recent incident in the Philippines. I remember about 5 years ago when he first started making those man-made islands, about 7 years ago, and then they militarized them. I thought one of the most intriguing comments I heard was from an official in the Philippines that was actually begging everyone to help out, like, telling Japan, maybe ditch this pacifist constitution. We all have to bulk up because China is going to be an imperialistic threat. And it was ironic because of what happened with Japan and their Asian neighbors during World War II. So with that in mind, though, we do see, for instance, this business dinner, right? U.S.-China Business Council, the National Committee for U.S.-China Relations, they're having dinner with Xi. And I see the people involved, right? The CEOs of Thermo Fisher, Nike, J.P. Morgan. You've got John Huntsman, Ray Dalio. So we've got brilliant people. We've got philanthropists. But they all have a vested interest in doing business with China. Is that Xi's ace in a hole that these folks keep going to bat for him?
This is, again, just a tried and true tactic of the Communist Party. When you can't get what you want from national leaders, then you turn to subnational leaders. I mean, look at the Belt and Road deals that they did with the state of Victoria in Australia. It's the same tactic here that they're using with CEOs who have really just bet the farm on China and refuse to see the proliferating risk. But again, Charles, these are just a couple of companies. Vast other parts of corporate America are leaving.
Yeah.
We're having our annual conference here in Nashville this week, and I can tell you, everyone gets the joke.
Yeah.
Absolutely everybody gets the joke.
Mary, I put the chart back on the screen of mentions of reshoring just from a few years ago. I remember when President Trump brought this up as an idea. Everyone pushed back against it. Now everyone seems to be doing it except for a handful of companies. Thank you so much. Always appreciate your expertise and hope to see you again real soon.
Great to be with you, Charles.
You too. Thanks.